Hey everyone, it is Sillyman here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a simple gun system in Roblox Studio. And this is going to be similar to the revolver in Murder Mystery 2. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is insert a gun mesh into Studio. So I'm going to go over to the catalog and then search for gun. And I'm going to filter items made by Roblox only. That way we don't run into any copyright issues. So I'll just choose this gun here. And then we're going to insert this into the game. To do that, we just come over to Studio, and then in the command bar, we type in the following command, which I will include in the description. And then here, we need to replace this here with the asset ID of the gun. So to do that, go over to the catalog, and then once you found your gun, you're going to copy the number here in the link. That is the asset ID. And then just paste that here. And then press enter to insert the item into the game. So the gun's over here. So if I go over to Workspace, you can see that it is right here. I'm going to rename this to gun. Alright, then I'm just going to expand it, and then you're going to see there's already some scripts here, but we're going to actually go ahead and delete it because we're going to be writing our own scripts. Then I'm also going to be deleting these things here. So keep the handle, and we can delete this. So keep the mesh, and I'll keep the sound as well. And then make sure this part here, it's called handle, and you don't change the name of it because it does need to be called handle for this to work. Alright, so now I'm going to drag the gun into starter pack and then hit play. And the gun is now in my hotbar, and if I click it, you can see that my character is holding it now. So right now if I click, it won't do anything, and that's because we still have to write the scripts for it. But just make sure that your character is able to hold it once you've deleted the scripts, and that you get no errors here in the output. Alright, so now let's start the scripting. So let's start with the client side. So inside of the handle, I'm going to insert a local script. So we're going to need the player service. So local players equals game, GetService, players, and then the player object. So local player equals players dot local player. And then I'm going to get the handle. So the handle is the parent of the script. So we can say local handle equals script dot parent. And then the tool is the parent of the handle. So we can say handle dot parent, tool equals handle dot parent. And then next I'm going to make a variable for the mouse. So this is going to be our mouse, player get mouse. And this is needed to get the direction which we're going to shoot the gun. And then next what I'm going to do is create a variable for the crosshair image of the gun. So when the player equips the gun, the icon of our mouse will change to a crosshair. So local crosshair equals, and then this is going to be the ID, and I will include this in the description. So now I'm going to make an event for when the player equips the tool. So we're going to say tool.equipped connect function. And then now we're going to change the icon of the mouse to the crosshair. So to do that, we're going to say mouse.icon equals crosshair. And then when the player unequips the tool, we want to change it back. So tool.unequipped connect function mouse.icon equals, and then I'm going to just put 2 quotes like that, and that will revert it back to the default icon for the mouse. And the next one I'm going to do is insert a remote event inside of the handle. So insert object and then a remote event. And this will allow the client to communicate with the server. So I'm going to just call this remote shoot. This remote is going to allow us to shoot the gun. And we can't do all this on the client because if we try to actually kill a player on the client, it actually won't work. We have to do that on the server. So we're going to use a remote event for this. So next I'm going to type tool.activated. So this will fire when the player clicks while they have the tool equipped. So connect function. And then we're going to need to fire this remote. So let's make a variable for this remote first. So local shoot remote equals, so the script is here, so, and the script is inside the handle as well as the remote. So I'm going to say handle dot shoot, and then here to fire to the server, we're going to say shoot remote fire server. And then this is going to take in one parameter. It's going to be mouse dot hit dot position, and this will tell the server which direction the player's mouse was facing when they shot the gun. Alright, so that is the client script. So I'm going to just call this client here, client script. So now let's do the server-sided scripting. So insert a script, a regular script into the handle. I'll just call this server script. So we're also going to need the player service here. So local players equals game GetService players. And then we're actually going to be needing a lot of things from here. So let's just copy all of this. We don't need the player's mouse, but I'll just copy all of it and then delete it here. All right, so we don't need the mouse. And local player does not exist on the server. So delete that. Now on the server, I'm actually going to make a variable for the fire sound. So this is going to be the sound when we shoot the gun. So local fire sound equals handle.fire, right? Because this is inside of the handle. And then next I'm going to make a variable for the cooldown. So I'll just call this reload time and I'll set that to 3 seconds. And then next I'm going to make a variable for the time that the player last shot the gun. All right, and this is going to be used to code the cooldown. So local last fire, I'll do last fire time, and then I'll set this to negative reload time. All right, because when the player joins the game, the time is going to be 0. So if we set this to -3, that way the player will be able to shoot right away without the cooldown getting in the way. So now let's make an event for when the remote is fired. So to do that, we do shoot remote.onServerEvent connect function. And then this is going to take in player parameter as well as anything we sent from here. So we have the mouse hit position. So I'll just call this mouse pose. All right, so next what we need to do is determine if the player can actually shoot. So if the player shot the gun 1 second ago, well, they're not going to be able to shoot right away because there's a reload time of 3 seconds. So to do this, I'm going to type if time, right? So time, it's going to start at 0 when the player joins the game. It's basically the amount of seconds that have passed since the game started. So time minus last fire time is greater than or equal to reload time. Then, so for example, if we shot the gun at 4 seconds, we won't be able to shoot the gun again until 7 seconds since the reload time is 3. So if, for example, we shot the gun at 6 seconds, let's plug it in to this equation here. So 6 minus last fire time, which would be 4 since we shot the gun at 4 seconds. So that's going to be 2 is greater than or equal to reload time, which is always going to be 3. Well, 2 is not greater than 3. So this, in that case, then the code here will not run. All right, so if we determine that the player is able to shoot the gun, we're going to set last fire time to time, and then we're going to make the fire sound. So to play the sound, we're going to do fire sound play like that. And then next what we're going to do is perform a ray cast. So a ray is basically a line that starts at a certain point and then travels infinitely in a direction. And we're going to be using this concept to shoot the gun. So I'm going to say local raycast params equals raycast params dot new. And this isn't actually creating the raycast here. We're just setting it up. So next I'm going to do raycast params dot filter descendants instances equals, and this is just going to be stuff that we want to ignore in the raycast. So we want to ignore our own player, right? Because we don't want to be able to shoot ourselves. So I'll do player.character. And we also are going to want to ignore the tool. We don't want the gun to be able to hit itself, I guess. So let's just do tool. And then this is stuff that we want to exclude. So let's make that clear. So raycast params dot filter type equals enum dot filter type raycast filter type dot exclude. And then to perform the actual raycast, we're going to say local raycast result equals workspace colon raycast. And then this is going to take in a few parameters. So the first parameter is the start position of the raycast. So that's going to be handle.position. And then next it's going to ask for the direction. So that is going to be mouse pose minus handle.position.unit. And what this does is it's going to create a vector of length 1 in this direction. So it's okay if you don't fully understand this. It is a little bit complicated. Just know that this is used to get the direction that the gun is facing. And then I'm going to multiply this by a number, and that number is going to be the distance we want the raycast to be. So I'll just do 500. So what this means is if the player is more than 500 studs away, then the raycast won't actually go that far. And I believe there is actually a limit for the raycast amount. I don't think you can raycast more than 5,000 studs. Okay, so then the last parameter is going to be the raycast params. Alright, and then we're going to check if the raycast result returned anything. So if raycast result, then local hit equals raycast result dot instance. Alright, this is going to be whatever hit the raycast if it exists. So we're going to then do if hit then, and then we need to determine if what was hit was actually a player. So to do that, I'm going to do local humanoid. So let's check if there's a humanoid. That's how we determine if it's a player. So local humanoid equals hit dot parent find first child humanoid. All right, so hit is going to be something inside of the character. So it could be the player's arm, for example, and then the parent of that is going to be the character. And then inside of that, there's going to be a humanoid. And that's how we determine that this is actually a player. And then we're going to say if humanoid, then we need to subtract the player's health. So we'll do humanoid dot health. And if you want to kill the player right away, you can just set it to 0. But if you don't want the player to die immediately, you can just do minus equals and then a certain amount. So let's just do 50. This is going to subtract half of the player's health. All right, so now let's go ahead and test this. So I'm going to hit play. So equip the gun. So there's no other players here, but we can still test it a little bit. So if I click, you can see that the sound plays. If I click again, nothing will happen because of the cooldown. But now it's been over 3 seconds. So if I click again, you can hear the sound. So now I'm going to test this with multiple players. So I'm going to go over to test, and then we're going to start a local server with 2 players. So you can just adjust the amount of players you want. You can test it with more than 2 if you want, but I'll just do 2 players for now and then hit start. All right, so now it's loaded. I'm going to equip the gun, then I'm going to aim at the other player, then shoot. As you can see, it subtracts the player's health. If I click here right after I shoot, it doesn't work because of the cooldown, but after 3 seconds I can shoot and the player's now dead. Alright, and that is basically it. That's how you create a simple gun system in Roblox. So if you found this video helpful, please leave a like, and I will see you all in the next video.